Alrighty, what is up, y'all? It is March 26th, Tuesday. Yeah, it's a Tuesday, turning up on a Tuesday. Alright, so today we're not talking about fighting. We're going to talk about some random stuff. So, I watched some of Quiet on the Set, which is, if you're not familiar with this, Quiet on the Set's kind of, what's the word, I guess, trending right now. And I don't know how long it's been out because these stories are, I don't know if I call them allegations, these situations has kind of been on the internet for a while. Like, this wasn't the first I'd heard about it, but I guess this one went more in depth. So it's like, it's not a movie, it's like maybe a TV series, but it's only 4 episodes, and it's kind of like a documentary interview of people who are at the events. But what it is it's about the production of several children's shows on Nickelodeon during, like, my upbringing. So, like, during the 2000s, late 90s maybe. I feel like it leans more in the 2000s because some of the shows, like, I was older when they came around, and I was like, they never clicked with me. Like, I never got into iCarly. That just wasn't my type of show. Alright, so Quiet on the Set is about the production of those things, and there's a specific producer they name a lot named Dan Schneider that, man, I'm sorry, y'all. Traffic just likes to be stupid around me sometimes. People driving with no lights in the left lane, 15 under the speed limit. Then out of the right lane wants to turn. Sorry. All right. So anyway, situation in Quiet on the Set. This guy's name's Dan Schneider. He's the executive producer of some shows for Nickelodeon, or the producer, whichever one, whatever. And he's this big fat guy. And I feel like I had seen pictures of him in my childhood from whatever situations or whatever. The issue is a lot of actresses or actors, people have come out and said that I don't even know what the term they're using is, and I think that's why he's not being punished, I don't know, but it's like he sort of sexually harassed in a way, made people feel uncomfortable sexually, and they're kids. Yeah, so like an example, now there's probably much more harsh examples and stuff, but I'm just got to pull what I got in my brain. So that singer, her name was Ariana Grande, and like in this one scene, and these like make it to TV or to their internet clips or whatever, like let's keep that in mind. In this scene, she's like, I'm thirsty. So she lays on her bed, kind of like head hanging off, and then pours water like all over her neck and sort of her shirt, and it's like, it is like that corny. Okay, the sexual reference in it is that blatantly obvious type of thing. Like, you would, I don't know, if you had like a teen movie and you were trying to blatantly make it clear that this girl's trying to grab this guy's attention, she might do something, and then it's blatantly obvious. Now, as I think of that scenario, like her pouring water on her and she's like giggling and shit, it's like, whatever. I would have recognized that at that age. Especially children today. So if this was a 10 or we could even say at that time, because like I grew up with the internet. So I had a lot of freedoms and access to information that my parents didn't have. We all just know how it is. All right. I'm not saying anything to downplay the allegations or to act like this Dan dude didn't do anything bad, because it definitely seems like he did. Where I'm caught up in all of this is the majority of this stuff. Now, it's like 4 episodes, and like I said, I was cleaning, I was doing a little bit of getting ready for practice today. I was bouncing around, so I'd catch like 5 minutes here and there. I didn't really sit down and watch. That's someone will probably be like, that's super disrespectful. Yeah, it is. I don't fucking care. All right. So the majority of these sexual innuendos, and that's literally like what they call them in this show. They're like, so like on All That, there was this guy named Pickle Boy, and he walked around with this plate of big pickles, and he'd like give them to people, and he was in a bunch of different episodes. I sort of remember that as a kid. A lot of Nickelodeon stuff is random like that, like pickles and I don't know, beets, stuff like that. But the pickles that this guy would carry around, and it was always a huge plate. They were like the huge ones that were fat and round. Like you got to buy them in the bulk size to even get them like that. Like they're still the cucumber size. All right. So some might say that looks like a dick. I get it. And then the way people would eat them or make humor over the pickle, it's like, looks like they're giving a blowjob or something, you know what I mean? And in fact, in a clip that it shows in this documentary series or whatever, shows Ray Romano. Remember Everybody Loves Raymond? He guest starred, I guess, on All That. And it looks like he pinned himself in the locker room and said he ain't gonna come out because he's hungry. Or maybe he's got stuck in the locker room and he couldn't get out and he got hungry because he couldn't get out. Either way, that's the situation. Here comes Pickle Boy on the other side of the door. There's basically a hole cut in the door at waist level, which is probably the door handle. The Pickle Boy slides the pickle through, as comparable to a glory hole. Then Ray takes it and eats it. Now, Ray's a full-grown fucking adult, so I don't know. Here's another example, and it's from the documentary. One of them's eating like a popsicle or something. They're trying to open this popsicle, or maybe it's like a Go-Gurt, something. They're trying to open it, and they're standing in front of another one. It's two girls, and they can't get it open, or maybe when she does, she squeezes it, and it pops, and the scene changes, and it shows the stuff landing on the other girl's face. And the way they described it, like they didn't actually like make it pop and explode on her face. They had someone with a syringe that sort of like made it fall at once or something. And someone who was being interviewed in the documentary said people chuckled and laughed, and then she heard Dan's guys say, "That's a cum shot." And then at the time she didn't know what that was, and then she grew up to find out what it was. Okay, maybe. I saw that situation from the, maybe, but like all this stuff is really weird. Again, I'm not standing up for this Dan guy or this situation, but all right, you can turn a lot of things that we do for fun for children into sexual things if you want to look at it that way. So how common is it for at fairs or schools or anything that promotes child fun? Circus? I think circuses are gone. That's crazy. For someone to get hit in the face with a whipped cream pie, or what we would call a cream pie. I have been to several charity events where someone such as the principal or a high figure in a business or the community is willing to let you pie them in the face, throw a pie at them, or run up and pie them in the face for a small donation to the charity of their choice. All right, so if we were to have thrown the whipped cream on that girl's face, you sort of see what I'm making here. I'm not saying the Dan guy didn't do anything unacceptable or whatever. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say all that shit happened in front of adults who never spoke up and said anything. Now I can sit here and tell. Here's another great example. I'm logging onto my Xbox. I play Overwatch 2. It's the only thing I play. But like when you're at the home screen on the Xbox, it's sort of like being on fucking Internet Explorer's homepage or something. It's got other stuff you could do. I could choose. And it's got this little icon. I shit you not, guys. It looked like a pink, flaccid penis. It wasn't erect, but it was a face. And you know what it was? It was a character named Peppa Pig. And I Googled it. And I'll be goddamn if it's not a whole fucking family of a bunch of flaccid penis heads that they're saying is a pig. Like, what the fuck is going on? All right. So now we found all these things that are borderline innuendos or whatever with this damn thing, and it's becoming a viral thing. Like, I'm watching people say this guy's a horrible person. And he might be. Okay. If you're the jackass that sat back and let all that happen, let your kid be subject to that, you sat in the crowd and applauded while that was going on, what the fuck are you talking about? You're as much liable for anything else. In addition to this, where are all the complaints about Disney constantly? And I'm not making it a Nickelodeon Disney thing. This exists on all the cartoons I've ever seen. It's all the time. There are always sexual innuendos or jokes or references, and we notice them so much more as adults. But adults don't ever seem to really speak up about it, or we don't seem to really throw a fit about it. Like, there's all kinds of, I want to say Easter eggs, but I think they call it something else, where certain things in Disney like clearly reference something sexual, or statements are made between characters that go over the child's head and it's clearly sexual. We go back and watch our own shows from our childhood and we see it all the time. We'll see it in the same children's programming today. What's different? What is any different about it? And where someone might say something as different as this is in these shows with Dan Schneider. He was dealing it with live people. Okay, these cartoons aren't created by AI. Like, these cartoons, their script and their drawings and everything are written by writers and people who sit around and stand around. And at some point, everyone's accepting these jokes. Now, where do you draw the line of accountability of... Okay, several times throughout the Quiet on the Set, these people being interviewed talked about how they were too uncomfortable to speak up. They were scared for their job to speak up. They were worried he would fire them to speak up. How much does that protect you? That's a real legal question. So say this escalates and it turns out there is a specific, and I'm not saying this occurred, we're hypothetically speaking. Say there is an actual sexual assault that comes from this, we learn, between this Dan Schneider guy and a minor that's part of one of these shows or something, whether it's a leading actress or someone in makeup or wardrobe with someone. And it's like rape or touching or groping, you know what I mean? Like, it's something. Y'all remember Joe Paterno? Y'all remember how all that played out? Where there was a report, someone says something, and then it doesn't get taken far enough, doesn't get pushed far enough. They completely dismantled Joe Paterno from Penn State, tore down his statue and everything. Gave back wins, wiped out records of seasons and everything. So, if you were the witness to something that was uncomfortable and possibly leads to suspicion of sexual assault on a minor, and you chose not to say anything because you were scared to get fired, the fuck? Who the fuck are you? Like, what kind of piece of shit are you? Your job's more important than that child's safety that you watch day in and day out go through their struggles. It's fucked up. So, I don't know. I feel like this video is going to come across completely different than what I'm really intending. In no way am I trying to stand up for Dan Schneider in any inappropriate behavior. But I would like to see people attempt to hold themselves somewhat accountable for not speaking up when they could have. Like, don't come back 20 years later and say, oh yeah, what he did to so-and-so was so awful, it's so awful, it's so awful, which is what a lot of this series is. Why'd you wait 20 years? Why are you on the show now? You should be so embarrassed that you didn't speak up back then. Why would you show your face? I don't know. That's all I got today. Yo, we got some boxing at 11. This is private session. I'm not having extra people today. And yeah, that's going to be it. This is a 15-minute video. We out of here.